Right now, I want to make sure that our families know that LAUSD is ready to connect with them whenever the chaos in life relaxes, or whenever there's that willingness again to try. What can we tell families or students who are, maybe haven't been going to school haven't registered yet this year, or for some reason or another got disconnected last year and are interested in going to an adult school, going to their high school, or just doing something?
Well, we can tell them it's never too late. There's always an opportunity to come back to school and finish your education. I personally dropped out of school when I was 15 years old. I had a child when I was 16. I had a whole bunch after that. I have 7 children now, but at some point I realized...
She's what we call saint.
At some point I realized that being out there without an education, living in poverty, is much harder than just coming back and getting that education. So for students that have children, that have to work, that have other conditions in their life that make it difficult for them to come to school, we want to say we have lots of options. You can do your whole high school program on the internet now, online. We have Saturday classes, we have adult ed courses, we have all types of opportunities, so don't be afraid to come back and let us know what your needs are, and we'll connect you to the appropriate placement.
So it seems like the LAUSD has been working on connecting with these students who are at home. I think, is it 1 in 5?
Yeah, the sad news is that the youth in Los Angeles between the ages of 16 and 24, actually 1 in 5 is out of work and out of school. So basically they're at home not doing anything, and we don't want anybody to be in a situation like that. So what we're doing is we're going out to the homes of these students and knocking on their doors and having conversations and telling them that we want them to come back to school, that we're here to support them, that there are lots of options to them, and that they can do it. We believe in them. We know they can do it.
Yes, we do. And so what would you say to someone who isn't quite sure about, going to the high school or picking up the phone? Well, how would you encourage them to make a decision that's going to affect them for the rest of their lives?
I'd say every day that they wait is a day further away from getting ahead and from advancing and from doing this. Just pick up the telephone, call, or walk into the last high school you attended, or visit our website and let us know what your needs are. You can come back to school, and it is difficult, but it's much more difficult being out there trying to survive without an education and without a job.
Right. And I think this is, this is something that parents need to be very aware of, that there really is no future without an education. In the past, many, many years ago, you might get a high school education and still fit into some kind of a job, some kind of a role out there for you. But the child today that drops out of school has no good future, no good present and no good future, and contributes to that ongoing cycle of sadness, quite frankly, for them, for their families now, and for their families in the future. So I think what we want to demonstrate to parents is that having their own self-discipline to make sure that their children form these good habits is their responsibility, that they can do it, that we need to encourage them. And we need to encourage parents who are stressed out to get help. Now, I know that many of our schools have wellness centers, they have parent centers. They can go in and seek help for themselves. They can also, Monica, get help for them when they don't know how to get their child to the school. So that it's not like just sending the child alone, but going with that kid to the school.
Absolutely, and being a parent is not an easy job. I mean, I think it's the hardest thing that I ever had to do, and it's difficult, and we all need support at times, and it's okay to ask for help. And they can come into our schools, or they can call us, and we're able to tell them these are the resources that we can help you so that you can get your child back into school. And to be kind to themselves. Don't beat yourself up. Just say, this is what I need to do, and there's people here that are able to help you. Don't be afraid to come back and let us know you need support.
Yeah, I love that education offers opportunity every day. And so when things haven't worked out, we don't need folks to be perfect. It doesn't have to all be on the first try.
There's no
there are
judgment
so
here.
many pathways to get back on, because we know that education can interrupt poverty, right? We have all kinds of stories of people who have re-engaged in, it didn't work. Or it was difficult, and folks want to try again. And I think, what have you shared, or what have you found in the students who do come back?
Students who come back are very excited to be back. When we go and we visit homes of students who aren't in school, they always tell us they're not happy. They don't want to be at home doing nothing. They want to be re-engaged. They want to do something where they can feel good about themselves. They just need that support. But the other thing that's really important that parents need to know is that next year we're going to a different way of how we do our budgeting in this district. It's going to be per pupil budgeting. So every single day of attendance counts more than ever, not just because the student is going to miss that critical instructional time, but every day a student is absent, that school loses valuable resources that we need in order to continue our educational program, our arts program, our support services. So every day a child stays home from school, it's a loss of money that comes into the district at a time where we really need every penny.
Right. So we want parents to know it's super important to develop good habits with our younger kids who are coming to school and depending on the parents. And then if something doesn't work, we want parents to know they can help get information, or those students can get information on how to reconnect with this district.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And I think it's important to know that if parents need the help, they can get the help as well.
Definitely.
I think that's as important, because so many of our parents that don't understand how to navigate the system give up, not because they wanted to give up, but simply because they didn't know where to go for help. So I think attendance is a community-wide issue. It isn't just a family issue, and it isn't just a school issue. It is a community issue. And so I'm very happy to know that you're going out, knocking on doors all the time, that other volunteers are helping with you, that schools care to have these kids back in school,
Yes.
and that we aim to get them back. Because that's the only way our society is going to improve. If we don't have a good quality of education, and we don't have children participating in the educational process, our future looks bleak for all of us.
Absolutely.
And here's the deal with LAUSD in 2011. We've got 56% of our kids graduating from high school, which means we have a lot of kids and a lot of families that we still have to help them connect how to finish. So maybe it's 56% for the 4 years. Maybe we get up to 66, close to 70 in our alternative, these kind of programs of how do you connect. But we have a lot of work to do.
We certainly do, and we need everybody to come together and work on this, because as you said, it's a community issue. So we need parents, we need people at our school sites, we need people in the community, we need our religious organizations, we need everyone working together to support our children so they can finish school.
Yeah, I want to make sure our parents know, Maria, not to be afraid. That we want to be helpful in creating that pathway.
And I think in order for that to happen, I'm glad that you're mentioning it, is because I think all of our school personnel must work in a very concerted way to make schools much more welcoming for our parents.
Yes.
Schools, even for those of us that have gone to school here in this country, who have had to navigate the system, whatever, the school is still very powerful. I was a school principal at the time that my youngest child was in middle school. And I remember going to a parent-teacher conference, and they told me not to worry, things were going well. He was a very good little citizen. And what really was concerning me at the time was that I wasn't sure he was reading at the level that he was supposed to be for his age. And they kept telling me that he was a very good little citizen. And here I am, a school principal, and I know I wanted to ask more, but I thanked them and walked away. And it was only when I got in my car that I thought, oh, I should have asked all these questions. So we are intimidated. We are intimidated, and we have to know how it feels to be a parent who may not speak English well, or a parent who hasn't totally completed their own education, who doesn't feel comfortable, going to the front office and saying, excuse me, I'm right here, can you help me please? Can you really help me? And being very persistent about it, because we don't want to bother people. But for our children, I think what we want parents to know is that is your role. That is your responsibility. God sent you here, sent these children to you, and now you better be sure that they get to school every day, on time, ready to learn.
Absolutely, and it's also understanding how the school system works. So understanding how many credits you need to graduate, and whether or not you're taking the right classes to be on a college path. So we have workshops, we have things to help parents understand, because it can be confusing, to let them know this is what you need in order for your child to go on to college. And so we want to welcome parents and not to feel intimidated, and that it doesn't matter if they don't speak English. It's also, there shouldn't be any barriers that prevent them from enrolling their children in school. Sometimes parents don't have proof of residency, or they don't have the necessary papers that they need in order to enroll. There's never any reason why they can't enroll. Just bring them to one of our schools. We'll give them a waiver. They'll have time to get the information that they need in terms of Tdap and other immunizations. But we don't want any excuse for a parent not to feel like they can't bring their child to school.
So we know that attendance is an everyday job, and we know for our parents and for our students, we need to send the message, we need you in school every single day. Every day matters. And then every day there's an opportunity to connect if you haven't yet come back to the district. We've been talking about being in.
And yeah, look what we're telling our parents here, you know. Make sure your child attends school every day and is always on time, so they don't drag in and have a bad hair day, right? Set a schedule so your child gets 8 to 10 hours of sleep daily. I want to be a kid again. I want 8 to 10 hours of sleep, right? Provide your child a healthy and nutritious breakfast at home, or make sure they're getting it at school. So that's another little checklist.
And we have a new menu that all the parents would approve of.
Oh, yes.
Healthy, delicious food.
Yes.
Healthy, delicious
And
food.
then I think really important, reinforce your child's positive behavior and high expectations. Yes, you can do it. Sí, mijito. Vamos, let's go. Let's do this together.
Absolutely.
Because a child that knows that mom and dad are working with them, or an adult who is an important person in their life,
Yeah, your
is
tia, your
pushing
Nina,
them towards
your-
that, you know?
Right.
So,
But also to be able to play that role of the disciplinarian when it's necessary. So if your child is not doing their homework or not going to school without your consent, that you have those conversations with them, and that if you need to take away things, that there are consequences. You know, it's difficult as a parent, but we don't want to just be their friend. We want to be able to make sure they're doing the right thing.
Right, we want to be in charge. I mean, I always used to tell the parents when I was a school principal, we do a really good job with our kids until they get taller than us. And so, and it's when they're getting taller than us that we need to influence them. So ladies, I want to just tell you our time is up, and it's been just a privilege to have you here, Deborah
Thank you so
Dardo,
much.
a wonderful example for all children and all our staff. So I want to thank all of you for joining us on Families Matter, and please visit our 2 new websites, families.lausd.net and parentaccess.lausd.net. Your involvement makes all the difference. For Monica and our guest, see you next month. And remember, families really, really matter. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.